And gentlemen, you're tuned into WZYX Radio. On the line now is Scott DesJarlais, our congressman here for this local area. Congressman DesJarlais, how are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you all are doing well too.
Alrighty, and give us an update, obviously, on all this shutdown stuff and what it means for local Americans.
Okay. Well, a lot of people won't be able to tell much different. That's certainly not the first time this has happened, and I think some people don't even understand what a continuing resolution is. Basically, we passed one through the House a couple weeks ago and sent it over to the Senate, and it just keeps the government funded at its current spending levels, and it's what we call a clean CR. I don't like CRs because it just says Congress isn't getting its job done, and we're not passing a budget like we should every year, but this has become common business in a very partisan Washington, D.C. So the Democrats did this 13 times under Joe Biden, and we actually passed one earlier this year in March to keep the government funded and open. And Chuck Schumer and several Democrats voted with it because shutting the government down really doesn't save money. It costs money. 85% of the government runs on autopilot, meaning it's mandatory spending, and that's like Social Security and Medicare and all those things. That money gets spent even during a shutdown. And so basically what happens is what they call non-essential employees can get furloughed. And in every shutdown I've experienced, and I've been through at least three, basically it becomes a paid vacation. And first of all, I have a question with that, or a problem with that term, non-essential employee, because I don't have any non-essential employees in my office. I doubt you do at the radio station.
No, we don't.
You don't just hire somebody because, well, we got lots of money and we need to give somebody a job. So, I don't have any non-essential employees to send home because everybody I hire has a distinct job and we're still working. But so maybe in a way it'll expose some of the waste and fraud in government that we're trying to cut. Anyway, so those folks will go home and, however long this thing lasts, they'll get back pay when it reopens. And so they basically get a paid vacation, and it costs the country money because there's no production going on. Now, the military, after 15 days, they could have to work without pay. There's other people that, TSA and other people that are working without pay. But again, they'll get back pay, and I don't suspect this thing will last very long. But the reason the Democrats are claiming that we're shutting it down is because they want to keep the subsidies that Biden put in place during COVID for certain low-income Obamacare recipients to get a break because of job loss and whatnot. And it was sunsetted. It was designed to be temporary, but they want to make it permanent. And so they're trying to slip that in, as well as a lot of their other priorities. And they're not really in a position to negotiate on this. It's just a 6-week CR. We're going to be going through this whole thing again in about 6 weeks. I'll stop in case you have questions. I know I'm just rattling on.
No, you're good, Scott. Obviously, it affects the local Arnold Air Force Base here. I know we've got some employees down there listening in, and their question is, when is this thing going to be over? But nobody knows when this thing is going to be over with.
No, back in 2012, we did one, and we were in the minority, and we were wanting to repeal Obamacare, and it was shut down for 18 days, and we had no leverage, but by gosh, we were going to demand that Obamacare be repealed, and of course Obama was president. There's no way that was going to happen, and it was a mistake. And I regret shutting it down at that point because we just caused 18 days of unnecessary pain and really embarrassment for us. And they're doing the same thing right now. They want SNAP benefits and whatnot for illegals, and they claim that illegals aren't getting benefits, but they are. I know they are. If you're under 18 and you came in the country illegally, you automatically qualify for SNAP. If you're a refugee, if you're an asylum seeker, you get SNAP. So the 41 million people in the country that are getting SNAP benefits, I don't know what percentage is illegal, but I know it's probably more than 10%. So they are funding people who are non-Americans for not only food subsidies, but healthcare subsidies. We know they got housing subsidies, and so a lot of this money goes to them, and bottom line is I think Schumer's afraid last time he got Democrats to vote for this in March, he took a lot of heat from the far left liberals, and so I think he's afraid he's going to get primaried by AOC, and he's been there 50 years. It's probably time for him to retire. But anyways, it's all political, and so for the folks at Arnold, I don't think this is going to last very long. I wouldn't be surprised if it winds down in a week. We need 5 more Democrats to come on board, and I think they're going to find out, like we did in 2018, they have no leverage to negotiate funding on a bill that just simply extends the current funding levels for 6 weeks. They can negotiate all they want over the next 6 weeks. We can talk about these premium increases, but like me as a member of Congress, I'm on Obamacare. My premiums have doubled since 2020. So unless you're in a certain income bracket, you don't benefit from the subsidies. And if you're in the certain income brackets, you're getting charged a lot more to subsidize people who are making less. And that's why Obamacare is basically, we always said it was a funnel into socialized medicine, and I think it's collapsing on itself, and we're seeing that now. But I would tell the workers at Arnold, not to worry too much. I think this will be a pretty brief shutdown, and I don't know that any of them are being laid off at this point.
As far as what I've been told, some offices are open, and then some of them are saying that they'll be there until at least Friday, what I saw on Facebook, but don't know really the truth of that. But hopefully this thing doesn't last too long. And do you know any of negotiations going on in Congress right now, or are we just at a standstill?
Well, we're not really negotiating with any of their demands because they're in no position to make demands at this point. But they're going to continue to vote. They're not voting today, but they're going to vote again tomorrow and again through the weekend. And, we don't want anybody, especially Arnold, because they have such an essential job when it comes to national defense. And I don't know if you know, but I'm the subcommittee chairman for strategic forces, which I think is one of the most important committees in Congress right now. We deal with Golden Dome, everything space, satellites, hypersonic weapons, missile defense, drone defense, nuclear modernization, and so all that is under my umbrella, and Arnold is a big part. Everything that flies goes through Arnold Air Force Base all around the country, and so we keep a close eye on them. I was just down at Huntsville and Redstone Arsenal earlier in the week and going through where we're making our Patriot 3 missiles and visiting a bunch of other sites, and we have probably 8,000 people from our area travel down to Redstone and work with NASA and Space Command's coming there. So it's important to Tennessee that we keep our military funded and certainly our troops paid. So we want to get through this and get it over with as soon as possible. So the Democrats are going to have to just realize that they marched themselves into a blind alley, and they're going to have to come out sooner than later. Hopefully it'll be in the next few days.
And obviously, last question, what is considered essential and non-essential for those that aren't really familiar with how the government works in shutdowns?
Well, I mean, it's hard to define quickly, but sometimes, say a national park, if you've got a number of park rangers and things like that, some of those can be deemed non-essential. All the parks, to my knowledge, are staying open, but there may be less staff. A lot of these people have funding to last for a certain period of time, and so it doesn't automatically mean everything's just going to shut down. But in congressional offices, apparently some people, I have just, I think, like 15 employees, both in D.C. and in the district. Some have 20 or 30, and so if they're not somebody that's essential to keeping their office running efficiently, then they're deemed non-essential and sent home. So it's a broad definition and hard to explain, but again, I don't really understand why we would have non-essential employees. It sounds like, well, I'm sure you're not a necessity.
All righty, Congressman. Just keep us updated on the situation. If you can follow Congressman on Facebook. What social media platforms are you on, Congressman?
I'm on Facebook and Twitter and probably Instagram. Heck, I don't know what they all are. I'm an old timer. but the communications person is on top of that. So if you go to my DesJarlais.house.gov. It'll have all the different platforms listed.
Alrighty, Congressman. That's hopefully we can get this thing off our minds, and let's get back to business doing the people's work.
We got lots of work to do, so we need to get this behind us. I agree. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.